You must not meet with these men, Baba. It is dangerous.
The whites are magicians, Chuck. They work with illusion. You have taught us to live in reality.
If what they say is true, then the Isangoma possesses powers we cannot ignore.
Beware, Baba. Those who wish to be saved by magic often become its servants.
If the whites offer you wings, it is because they wish to make you their victim.
How can the conqueror of nations be bewitched by a handful of jackals? You have given them land, wealth, and the status of generals and chieftains. All I ask is, what is the great elephant getting in return for his generosity?
The power of their knowledge.
The spirit of the blade speaks.
No, the spirit of Shara speaks.
So be it, son of Zulu. Take the spear, and with it, like the sun, cast your powers to the ends of this earth.
You are Zulu. You possess the heavens.
Heavens belong to Zulu, and Shara is their son. Shara is their son. Their son.
My name is King Kamanzi. Which camera am I looking into?
It's this both.
Both. We change.
My name is King Kamanzi from the Universal Zulu Nation. I'm Afrika Bambaataa's tour MC, and I'm also international spokesman for the mighty Universal Zulu Nation. Zulu Nation is a hip-hop awareness organization that deals with unity, love, peace, freedom, and justice, overcoming the negative to the positive, mathematics, science, sound right reasoning. Zulu Nation started in '73. Actually, Zulu Nation grew out of an organization called the Black Spades, in which Afrika Bambaataa was the leader of. He had a vision to transform the Black Spades into the Universal Zulu Nation, which became a humanitarian organization based around the culture of hip-hop. And we try to promote peace, unity, love, and having fun across the planet.
Okay, what's your main goals for the youths?
The main goal of the youths, it's a lot of goals. First of all, it's bigger than just hip-hop. The youths have to be saved, and music necessarily can't save a life, but music can help. And so we're not putting it all on hip-hop to save the problems of the world, but we just want the youth of every nation to embrace the true culture of hip-hop and not get caught into the rap nonsense and the stereotypical violence that you see on the videos and the radio stations are pumping out through their songs. So we want to tell the youth, each one teach one to reach one and read some, and then we can go ahead and peace one.
How do you see the government now?
Which government?
The government, world government, American government?
All governments are the same. It's technology. Yeah. Whether it's Obama, who's a black president, I'm happy he's a black president of the United States, but he's still part of a bigger corporation, and I won't even go into depth about that. So all governments ultimately are the same because they represent mind control and they represent control of the population. So whether it's the U.S. government or whether it's other governments, all governments are the same, whether it's democracies, even so-called republics, all these do a lot of stuff to enslave the people, but ultimately as far as the government, we're pushing more for a republic than a democracy, or what we call a demonocracy.
The man who would become Hurt's biggest rival came out of a neighborhood on the other side of town called the Bronx River Projects. This was home to a young gang leader who went by the intriguing name of Afrika Bambaataa.
When I first saw Kool Herc go, I said, whoa, they playing a lot of records that I have at home. I said, I like them type of beats he's playing. And then when I came with my full system too, once I got, graduated from high school, then I started saying, oh, this is the style of I'm going to be playing, and then some.
Bambaataa's musical experiments were noisy enough to attract attention.
He used to play out the window. I'm riding my bike by this window every day, and I'm hearing, James Brown, all of the good stuff that they ain't playing on the radio. I'm like, okay, I can get with that, because I just wanted to be around that guy.
When Bambaataa became a DJ, he unleashed a new energy into hip-hop. It was an energy that tapped into a frightening force which dominated Bronx life in the 70s, its street gangs. In an era when the Bronx was rife with savage territorial conflict, Bambaataa was already well known in the area as a notorious gang leader.
At that time, we was part of the gang movement, the Black Spades, the Savage Skulls, the 70 Mortals, the Reapers, all those groups who was, controlling the Bronx. And then from my travels and seeing one of my best friends get killed by the police on Pelham Parkway in the Bronx, and seeing how a lot of the brothers and sisters was getting hurt up, that's when I said I had to, try to lead, our organization into another direction.
Bambaataa formed the Zulu Nation, a dedicated following of local hip-hop enthusiasts who organised parties and then put the money they made into community self-help projects.
You gotta understand, you really have to understand that the Zulu Nation had originally been the Black Spades. They were the biggest, most feared gang in the Bronx. I mean, they'd wear these denim jackets with the cut-off sleeves and fur around the collars and Black Spades written across the back. And this was before gangs had a lot of guns, so it was all about getting beat
down with these and with sticks and with knives. I mean, it was brutal. And Bambaataa had the inspiration to stop this gangbanging nonsense, stop killing each other, and let's get creative. So he turned one of the most violent street gangs into one of the most influential cultural organizations. His status was literally legendary. When you heard of Afrika Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation, there was a whole section of the Bronx that was under his command.
Well, the name Zulu Nation inspired me when I seen a movie back in the early 60s which featured Michael Caine called Zulu. That movie just stuck with me. It was just, you know, inspirational seeing the people of Africa fight for what was theirs. I said, you know, one day I'm going to have me a Zulu Nation.
Bambaataa's personal conversion from gang leader to hip-hop DJ set a trend that swept the Bronx. Kids who would previously have joined gangs began channeling their energy into hip-hop, literally taking to the streets with speakers and turntables.
Afrika Bambaataa of the almighty universal Zulu Nation, the Armor universal hip-hop culture, the father of the electro-funk sound. Well, I'm glad to see that hip-hop is now international and is helping many people from even places that are poor or broken to bring other people out of their so-called ghettos and to get many people from these many places to traveling around the earth. And it's very interesting to see how hip-hop as a culture, as a movement, has brought all the different people of many different nationalities and so-called races as well as religions together. You can see a Palestinian rapper rapping with a Jewish type rapper. You can see people that might not even thought about each other when they travel and start meeting and greeting each other because of hip hop. It crosses all the barriers.
And what's your understanding of hip hop and rap music? What's the main goal in this culture?
Well, hip hop is the culture. Rap is one part of the music aspect of the whole culture. Most people get it twisted when they say hip hop, they just think of rap records or rap songs or rap musicians.
And you dedicated yourself to the fifth element of hip hop, to the knowledge. Would you say something about that?
Well, knowledge is the basis of everything that we do. You can't do nothing without knowledge. And it's all based on mathematics. Everything we do and walk in life is based on mathematics. The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you blink, the way you comb your hair, the way you see.
You have been deep into knowledge topics like the cosmic universe and a whole lot of other stuff. Would you tell us about something about that?
Well, we are all of the all, and the all is of us. So we are all of the universe, and the universe is all of us. So even in our bodies that we think that we know so much, it's also a movement of a universe within our body that's connected to the all universe that's out there and all the universes that's even beyond this universe.
When did you get connected with such type of teachings? Because you don't learn these teachings at school.
Well, you have other great people that you learn from, like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and then when you travel and you start sitting at the seats of many other scholars or many other religious or ideology thinkers, then you see the world in a whole different view, as well as your universe.
Are you aware of the term New World Order? Because I was come about a male from Africa, Islam, and Israel Maxwell, and you thank him for all his mountains of knowledge, wisdom, and overstanding, reasons, fatality, and the inspiration he has given us over the past years. It's in the name of the Zulu movement, Universal Zulu Nation, and they call him a brother, teacher, and a friend. And so, what's the background of the symbology, and how does hip hop uses these tools?
That's another scholar that many people learn from, Jordan Maxwell, David Icke, as well as Reverend Phil Valentine and Dr. Alim Muhammad and Dr. Alim Bey and a couple other people that's out there teaching the science of what's coming down and what's been here from the ancients of days, which is returning to now. So we get into many of the ancient teachings of ancient Kemet, which is known as Egypt today, but the indigenous black people called the Kemet at the time. And many of the other ancients of Sumer, or the land of the Moors, Lemuria, and Atlantis, and all the other teachings of what was known before is coming back to the forefront now. Just like many people are starting to walk around with the Ankh again. And many people don't know that all bases of the major three religions come back from out of ancient Kemet. That's the first Salat, the first prayer to the one God was through Akhenaten. So many people, like if you talk about the 99 attributes of Allah, you're also talking about the gods and goddesses of Amun Ra. So it's just, which is only one of the only true other religions and ways of life who also have angels who have woman names. So many of the other ones don't give respects to the so-called female entity. So we deal with many of the different ideologies of all the different ancient indigenous cultures on the planet, as well as other things that speak channeling from other places in the universe.
I've done a lot of researches because Professor Griff has told about the devil worshippers in the music industry, and they also play with the symbolism, with the all-seeing eye, with the hand like this, or the triangle-shaped hand from Hova. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, you got people like, when I do it, I do it of course of the funk sign. We could do it like this way, or we do it when we call the god Anubis and stuff. But other people might, heavy metal, they might do it like this, but some say they worship Satan or the Golden Mendes, stuff like that. But as Zulu Nation, we don't give the devil all his props and stuff. He was just an angel, according to their scriptures and books that fell from the grace of God. So how the hell does an angel get as much power as the Lord of the world? And in ancient Kemet, there was no such thing as no devil. You know, the most fathers that they could go where they talking about Satan or going back to Lucifer is talking about Set. What happened with the vision and everything that happened with Set at the time. So most people, they be honoring this devil like if this is the Lord of all the worlds. No way the devil or Satan or Lucifer has as much power as the supreme force who put all this into operation and into movement. So for us to keep giving so much power to this so-called Lucifer, you're really playing an illusion and a secret matrix scary game on the masses of the people. It's just that you have a lower self and a higher self. So if you just want to do bad, you just do it. And if you want to do good, you just do it. Most people like to blame something else. When they do bad, they say, oh, I'm blaming it on the devil. Or if they rob a bank or do something crazy, they say, oh, the devil made me do it. Or I heard these voices. Which voices you heard? Was you hearing the so-called devil? Was you hearing some extraterrestrials? Was you hearing the supreme force who's known by many names? What was you hearing? So you never took your time to check on if you hearing these words and stuff, who you talking to?
I came over a book, the Spell of Leviathan by Malachi C. York.
Very heavy book.
Yeah, he's talked about a lot of these things, about the evil influences of these gods from Seth and Lucifer. And now we came across Jay-Z, Kanye West, Rihanna. They all wearing symbols to glorify these gods. What's wrong now in hip hop? Where's the lack of understanding? Because they use the symbols not for the benefit of the whole society. Mm-hmm. They
you got some people, not just in hip hop but in general, that gives their life towards evil. And you got others that it might not even be nothing. They just growing up symbols, don't know what they're growing up. Mm-hmm. Just like I wear the eye of Ra and the eye of Haru. And these are greatness to the supreme force, to many of the other gods and goddesses that You know, everything started with gods and goddesses that led up to the one supreme force. So it's not to be scared of that, because all ancient societies dealt with gods and goddesses. And until they came to talking about this one God, and it's the supreme force over all things. So you could get into angels, or is angels extraterrestrials? Is God extraterrestrial? You know, your mind could go crazy trying to wonder who is the supreme force. Is it the way we use it in the so-called Bible or the glorious Quran or the book coming forth by day or other ancient books? They always try to make the supreme force with a him. And some name the supreme force with a her. But what about if it's a it? You know, your mind is so heavy to comprehend what it, or who and what is the supreme force. But the wonders of the sun, moon, and stars and the life of the animals and everything in your planet shows you what is the supreme force. The supreme force is in you. So we could go crazy trying to find out who is the supreme force. That's why in the Zulu Nation we say we would not fight or kill over the name to call the supreme force, whether it be Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Elohim, Jah, Ra. We say that when the supreme force itself is ready to show or say who it is, it will let you know. And if it don't let you know for millions, trillions of years, you just keep moving on with life. You know that through your sun, your moon, the roaches, the ants, the cows, the cats, and everything else, the fish, that there's something other than yourself.
Yeah. Hip-hop has a lot to do with melody, rhythm, and that's deep dig into ourselves, so has a great heavy influence of the human soul. So you can cast a spell on somebody, or you can give him a lot amount of energy with wisdom to prepare himself or herself to different problems who's coming in the future.
Well, that's like giving sound word power to things.
Yes.
Say most people would say, bless you, God bless you, God bless the child that has his own. I'm giving blessings. But most people never look at what is the word bless. What is the etymology of the word bless? Blessed means really a blood sacrifice, and it is a German word, and it was used from the Germans over into England. So the word that they truly used was bliss, which meant peace, harmony, love, and all that. But in the ancients of the indigenous, ancient China, India, or ancient Kemet, Africa, Tamaray, they didn't use none of these words. They had their own words of what was the meaning of goodness, greatness. Just like when you sit at the table, your grandmother or somebody say, well, let's say prayers or let's say grace. So, most people don't understand the words that we use. We give power to it. So that sound word power. So most people that just go out, God bless you, God bless you, Allah bless you and stuff, they don't look at what was the etymology, the roots of the words, and where did it come from.
Interesting. How do you see the government? How the government govern the people? When you see the people as gods, living gods on planet Earth?
Well, you have governments that sometimes do good for the people, and you have governments that do corrupt. And that's why it's the power to the people to make things happen or to make change. That's why you see all type of change happening all over the planet Earth at this moment, because that's the supreme force moving through the people saying it's time to either y'all get it together, or if you don't get it together, then we're going to show you who's the gods and goddesses to the supreme one force of the world. So I send a tsunami and take out 100,000 in no more than 5 minutes. I send some earthquakes and take out 50,000 in no more than 2 minutes. So this is the way the earth is going to start cleansing, because the earth is a living entity itself. So if us humans keep disrespecting the planet, taking trees, just like people putting Christmas trees in their homes and all that, where their own ancient Bible book tells them don't put no tree if you really go read the verses in your house. Trees supposed to be outside to clean the toxins in the air, and it should be what they call them fake Christmas trees you should put in your house, and stop messing up with the planet, taking certain things out of its order. And that's why the planet now, through the supreme force, through the angels and everything else that you want to believe in, is sending all type of destruction, and weather's changing on people because of that.
How does the Zulu nation respond to all this massive mind control that's going on right now?
Well, you got to get with the planet, with the universe, spirituality. You got to get with things and stuff to stop all these certain frequencies. You got to get with certain foods to eat that brings the antennas for you could get the words or stuff or wisdom that comes to you through the antennas. They're also trying to pull these chemtrails up in the skies that I've seen so much over Switzerland in the last couple of days that's messing with the DNA of the people. But people just take everything in general and don't look at it. Just like most people don't recognize there's something sitting up in the sky that's far close to the earth that's in many of these countries, and most people look up, they think it's just a star, or they think it might be the satellite station, but nobody knows what is that little bright light sitting in all these different countries that you see it every night, but nobody's questioning what is that.
You also experienced for yourself such contacts, third kind. What are your beliefs?
Well, I try not to get into beliefs, because beliefs means you really don't know. I try to look for factology versus belief. I look for right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding for we could understand. And we try to look for as much that could be factual from the seen, as well as you try to get the knowledge of what is the unseen, which causes so many beliefs, because we really don't know yet.
What are your predictions for the future? 2012 and...
Well, many people say 2012 supposed to be the end of the world and this and that. I said 2012 already been here. It depends on which calendar you're talking about. So if you're talking about the Gregorian calendar, well, they just catching up to the ancient Mayans. The Mayans catching up to what the Incas had, to what the Olmecs, the original indigenous people of the Americas, to the ancient Chinese, ancient Indian, back to the ancient Africa. You know, so you got to pick which calendar you want to choose from, because the ancients of ancients is way past 2012.
Would you say something to the youths of today?
No, to the youth and to the young adults and people in general, you need to get back and read. You need to get back to get into the nature and respect of the planet and the respect of each other, and start doing fair trade, not being greedy with each other, saying, you know, since you got oil, I'm going to take this. It was people like Nikola Tesla who made it where everybody should have free electricity in the house. But because of greed and money, you still have people who's trying to still control everybody through oils, through certain things that they want, lights and bills and electricity, where there's so many scientists and great people who came to free us from that. So we must respect each other and respect the planet, because the planet will definitely move on you if you don't respect her.
What can each one do actively to better themselves or to search freedom?
Well, each one teach one, each one help one, and each one free one. And each one do something, get up and do something for self. Because if you sit there and just be quiet, you ain't nothing but just a new slave that will be controlled sometime in the future. As Pink Floyd said, another brick in the wall.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the activism that's going on in the Zulu Nation?
Well, if you go to many of the different Zulu Nation sites, you see the different things that they do for you know, feeding in the community, or trying to feed Mamel Jamal, or you know, others that's doing the knowledge of science, and others that's doing the Moorish science from the ancient Moorish history that so many people have got away and forgot about, the empire of the Moors, which was all over Europe as well as the Americas. So it's just a lot of different deep stuff that many people are doing in the Zulu Nation, from many different so-called nationalities and races, which is all part of the one race, that's the human race.
I also heard you trying to get Malachi C. York out of prison. Can you tell us?
Many people have been trying to get Dr. Malachi, as well as any political prisoners, free. We're trying to get a universal Zulu Nation cultural center of the universe. We asking people to send donation and help, because we need a building just like the United Nations that would deal with the streets of all people on this planet, and then some, even beyond.
His Freemasonry background, he has told the Freemasonry is separated by black and white lodges, and there's a fight, the intern fight going on. How strong is the influence of Freemasonry, black Freemasonry in hip hop?
Well, Freemasonry, whether it's black or white, I mean, it all comes back to the Moorish people, the indigenous Moors who are called black people today. Freemasonry goes all the way back to ancient Kemet, all the way back to Lemuria and all that. It's all in the different religions and everything. It's all over the walks of life. So you got to study it all. You know, you can't be nervous of Freemasonry. You can't be nervous of Islam or Christianity or Buddha or whatever. You know, in the Zulu Nation, that's why we go and we can sit among any people on the planet, because we don't get caught up in, you know, whether you this and that, because we all learn from each other.
You would add something to the end, so last...
Just respect Mother Earth. She's a living entity. If you don't respect her, get ready for the wrath that will come down on your butt. Peace.
Thank you very much.
All right on.
Ich sehe diese Bilder in meinem Kopf an meinen Wänden. Jeden Tag wieder dasselbe, dieses hoffnungslose Kämpfen. Jede Nacht wieder derselbe Traum, Schatten, die mir folgen. Und deshalb bleib ich lieber wach, anstatt zu träumen. Du bist hier, immer noch in meinem Gehirn. Und spüre heute noch wie gestern deine Lippen auf der Stirn. Und ich fühle deine Finger, die mir kalt über die Arme streifen. Ich höre deine Stimme, die mich zwingt, genau hier stark zu bleiben. Ich versuche mir die Liebe aus dem Herz zu reißen. Lieber nicht mehr fühlen, statt je wieder unter Schmerz zu leiden. Ich bin gefangen zwischen Albtraum und Alltag. Seh vor lauter Bäumen jetzt den Wald kaum und schalt ab. Ich fühle mich wie ein Schlafwandler, leb oder verblut. Ich wache morgens auf und glaub daran, dass alles gut ist. Hab dich immer noch bei mir, doch ich hab Angst, dass dieses Bild mich frisst. Du bist alles, was ich will, doch du willst nicht mich.